Hi folks, I want to show you how to use Adobe Illustrator's Create Outlines function to take a text box and turn that piece of text into a manipulated graphic. So here I've added some text, typing in my name. I'm going to make it larger. I'm going to pick a font that I like. So you'll see that I've gone up to the character menu and I've selected the size, and I'm changing it to a much larger number. And now I'm going back to the character menu, and I'm just checking it to see if it can be made any bolder than it is right now, and it can't be. So I'm going to change to a different typeface. So I've selected one there, and I'm going to make that even larger still. So now that I've got it approximately the size I want it, I'm going to go up to the text menu. First, I do have to check the black selection tool, and you can see that the selection box is around it. So now I'm going to go up to the Type menu, and I'm going to select Create Outlines. And you can see now that the selection box is much tighter around the text. So I'm going to go up now to Object, and I'm going to ungroup and deselect it all, and now you see that each letter has its own selection box around it. And what has happened is this text has now been converted from editable text, where I could go in and change the spelling, to graphics like you would create with any of the graphics tools. And so you can see that I've used the selection tool to stretch the M downward and the N to the right. And now I'm moving the entire N down because I've ungrouped these letters so they're all separate from each other. And now I'm moving them to give them a little bounce. And what I'm trying to create is the effect of like some crazy 1960s or 1950s looking type. So I've gotten the white direct selection arrow, and I'm selecting individual points on these letters, and I'm moving the individual points. And so you can see that I can move them independently of each other and start doing some really crazy stuff to the type. So as I stretch this, I'm kind of looking for them to coordinate in certain ways. Now, one thing that I noticed right here is that the crotch there of the M. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it, isn't just one point. There are 2 points there. So in order to stretch that, I'm going to have to select both of those. So I hold Shift and select them both and then drag them up. Anytime you hold Shift, you can select more than one point. So I'm going to play around with this M, move it, in a little tighter to the A. I'm trying to get a little angle on that M at the top right so that it kind of matches the angle of the A. Not exactly, but it leads that way. And now I'm going to play around with the R. I'm going to use the selection tool to select 2 of those points and drag the right leg of the R down lower. Now I'm going to grab that upper left point and drag it in, and that makes me want to move the M. And so you can see you're getting a little bit of, sort of angular craziness there. I'm going to move that T in there, but I see how it could nest very nicely where the leg of the R joins the loop of the R. So I angled it a little bit there. And I'm going to bring it in a little tighter. I'm going to angle the lower leg and see if the bottom of the T and the bottom of the R can kind of become a common line. And now I'm going to move out that right side of the T, bring the I in a little tighter. I'm going to move these palettes out of the way because I just can't see what I'm doing. I'm going to grab that N. Now I stretched it so you could see it stretched, but I actually don't like it like that. So I'm going to position it, and then I'm going to tighten that up a little bit. And you can see I'm already playing around with the angles. And then I'm going to do that with the I. I'm going to tighten up that entire letter a little bit so that it's much narrower like the other letters. And I'm going to try to make the top of that N sort of match the angle of that I. There we get that sort of downward movement, and then let's do something really crazy with the bottom point there. Instead of letting it be just flat, let's angle it. And why not do that too? Now that's looking pretty fun, I have to say. And it does have that sort of 1950s or early 1960s feel. Just get everything kind of positioned the way that I want it to, and I kind of have a thought that it's missing something. I'm not sure exactly what, but something doesn't look exactly right. And yeah, I am this picky when I'm doing things. In fact, I'm pickier than you're seeing here because this is a demo and it's only in a couple minutes. But how could I tie this all together and make it just a little more fun? So I'm going to go over and get the circle, or I should say the ellipse tool, and just put a little dot over that eye. I know it's a capital, but that dot's kind of fun. And so there it is. And you can see that I took a very straightforward piece of text and used the Create Outlines function in the Type menu to turn it into a graphic.